Hello everyone, and welcome to this dungeon guide for Fungal Grotto. My name is Geraint and I will be your host during this run. Fungal Grotto is situated in the Stonefalls area of the Ebenheart Pact and is one of the first group dungeon that you will encounter in the game. The level range for this dungeon is level 15 to 17. And with that, we will just move into the dungeon and see how it goes. But first, let me start to introduce my companions in this run. We got Morviana. Then we have Patrick the Pathfinder. And last but not least, we have our beautiful Nimorea. Alright, after buffing up, we are moving into the dungeon. Please be aware that all four of us are veteran rank, so way over the level limit of this dungeon. To easily show you how the dungeon works, we will use mostly normal attacks. The first encounters that you will see in Fungal Grotto are trash mobs, so it shouldn't be really any problem for the group. I would suggest to have at least one tank and healer. At least one dedicated healer should be good, because the first boss will be basically a group check, and it will determine if your group setup is right or not. So if you don't have a dedicated healer, then you will most likely not survive the first real boss fight. Furthermore, all of our group members, including myself, have already done this dungeon, so you will see that not all of the quest objectives will be possible. What you see here is a Dreof in a cage. It's basically not needed that you release him or release it. You can just do it for fun, I guess. The dungeon itself is pretty straightforward. There is nothing really difficult, and here we are already at the first boss, or mini boss, so to say. He has some ads, some Dursok dogs. He's basically tank and spank. The only really dangerous ability that he has is like a stun and immobilize that you see like now. Otherwise he's pretty easy if you can stay out of his AoE area and get enough healing. Moving forward, we're getting to another pack of trash mobs, but in this case they have a healer with them. You can see it with his staff that is glowing in the back. I'm moving toward him and getting the aggro off him, because the healing could be really dangerous for the group, because he really heals very fast. And even those trash mobs can be a danger for the group if they get healed constantly. So the tank should be on the guard and focus the healer first. You will see in the next room, close before the first boss of the dungeon, that there are two healers. They are called menders, and there are a lot of trash mobs here in this room. Also there are chests throughout the whole dungeon. The whole group can loot them. So like I said, we are here with a big room of trash mobs and two healers. So the tank should make sure that he targets the healers first, the menders, and the rest of the group can just DPS the rest down. There is one thing that you have to be aware though, when you are moving into that big group, that the main boss, the first boss, is already waiting over there at the big rock that you can see there. So if you're moving too close when you're engaging the mobs, it could happen that you already aggro the boss, and that is really not something that you want to do. So always stay close together and don't move too fast in or too close to the rock. Otherwise it could wipe your group if you start the boss encounter before you're ready. Alright, we have cleared the room and are ready to engage the boss. During this fight I will slow down the video so you can see the whole mechanics of this boss. The tank can engage him either with Fury Chain or just move close to him to start the aggro. Warchief Autosi uses a jump in as his starting attack that does AoE at the area he lands, so if you move back that would be good. His two adds are using Dragon Knight standard abilities, so it's best to kill them as soon as possible, otherwise they can do heavy damage to the group while the tank focuses on the main boss. He has different attack modes or abilities. For example, he targets a random player like he does now. You will see that there is a red circle building to form and it gets bigger, and after a while it explodes. Which means if you are getting targeted by that red beam and see the circle building around you, move as far away from the group as possible, otherwise you will AoE damage everyone around you. Furthermore, the healer has to be aware if if one of the players is affected by this and be ready to heal. His other very strong attack is a charged sword attack that does heavy damage, single target and knockback. Normally the tanks get attacked by this one, and if you don't block and if you are badly geared, that could even be a one-shot kill. So every time you see him charging up, it's like he's pulling back his sword and he starts to sparkle. Go into block mode as a tank and then you should be fine with the healer healing you afterwards. Well, that's basically everything you need to know about Warchief Autosi. And if you have a dedicated healer with your group, then it shouldn't really be a problem. As soon as Autosi is killed, if you haven't done the quest yet, you can loot his head and put it on a spike, which will make the other goblins in the area be friendly to you because you are now the new boss. As I said before, we all have done this quest already, but we will show you where to put the head. You basically have to run up here and put it on the spike over there on the top of the rock where Autosi was standing before you aggroed him. Just in case, I will send one of my group members up there again for you so that you can see how it works. After you've put that head on a spike, again the goblins will be friendly to you and they will kind of help you against the next mobs in the area. They don't really do much damage, so don't expect them to be that much helpful. In our case they are still aggressive, so they shouldn't pose any big problem. Just take care of the menders and the group should be fine. Again, if you have the quest active, then those goblins here will fight at your side. Moving on, we are now coming into the area of Blood-Bertha and Clatterclaw, two of the next mini-bosses. We just have to clear a little group out here, which again would be not aggressive if you have the quest active. After that, We are moving forward, crossing the water, and here are again trash mobs. Just 3, but they hit pretty hard, so make sure that you finish them off fast. Also take care about the cone attack that you could see right now. It can also do a good amount of damage. But those 3 shouldn't pose any problem. Also watch out for packs of mud crabs. They can pose really a danger and can actually kill your group if you're not careful, because they are very well hidden sometimes, and if someone from your group stumbles upon them, they can finish them off, because they are like packs of, like you can see here, packs of like 6 to 10, and in combination with the trash mobs they can really pose a danger. The best thing is if you have someone with AoE skills to use them when they are getting close to the group and finish them off in one go. Here we just finish them off one by one so that you can see how many they really are. Okay, in the distance you can already see Blood-Bertha. Just make sure that when you are moving in to clear the trash mobs on the left side. Otherwise it could happen when you engage the boss that you move too far back and activate those 2. So always kill the left ones first. And then you have lots of space to attack Blood-Bertha and his adds. Blood-Bertha has 2 adds. Both of them dish out quite a lot of damage, so the DPS should focus on them first while the tank takes on Blood-Bertha. Also, watch out for his cone attack. He will channel it up before he does it. He will also pull a random group member to himself and then do damage, so also watch out for that. Moving on, we are going into the area of Clatterclaw, another mini-boss. We only have 2 or 3 groups in front of us. The first one is Geraint, trash mob group, and over the bridge are 2 groups of mud crabs. You can AoE them. They are just normal mud crabs. And behind myself is already Clatterclaw. You can see him here in the background. Clatterclaw is an oversized mud crab and is accompanied by a bunch of normal mud crabs. The tank takes over the aggro while the others kill the little mud crabs, best with AoE. Clatterclaw only summons some mud crabs from time to time, but otherwise he doesn't do any special attacks. And as long as you keep the mud crabs killed that he spawns, he's pretty easy to kill. As soon as you cross that bridge, you will encounter the final boss of this instance, Crag the JF King. As you can see by the animation, this boss is yet another big boss and also a group check, as he is the final boss of the dungeon, like I said. His main attacks are channeled lightning attack, knockback attack with glowing pinchers. The tank should block that one. And its main attack is a field of lightning, noticeable by a red circle building beneath the boss. He also casts it after pulling a random player to himself, so watch out for that. The attack is pretty fast, so a roll dodge out of the area is best if you can manage it. And if you can't manage it, be sure to be properly geared, because it can kill bad guild player. The tank has to decide if he wants to do a roll dodge or block. If you have a good healer, blocking is okay to do as tank. Other than that, the boss, as you can see, moves to 2 fixed spots on the map and summons mud crabs. Like Clatterclaw before, the best thing to do is just AoE them. But be aware though that you can't taunt him when he's doing that mud thing with the mud crabs. Also, when he moves to another player, it can happen that you lose the taunt, so best retaunt again. And that's pretty much it for this dungeon guide. I hope we could help you to run through that dungeon without dying too much. And if you want to see more, there will be more of the dungeon runs. And thank you for watching.